All right. Good evening, guys. I am thrilled to have you all with us tonight. I wanted to talk specifically about what happens when you get to a plateau. A lot of people get to plateaus and they think like, oh, my body just isn't working, this, that, and the other. And it can be a really challenging time. I'm going to touch on that for a few minutes because I know a few people have reached out and they've said, hey, I'm feeling like my body just isn't going anywhere. And after going through some pretty simple troubleshooting, like it's somewhat obvious where the hiccup is, and it's a common theme that I have seen in the 8 years that I've been with Plexus. I see it over and over and over again. And so if we can just break through that, like what a great resource to simply keep on leaning on the product, but truly like to make the progress toward your goals. So before I do that, quick shout out. Tom shared with 6 people this month, which I absolutely love. I will raise my hand and say I was going for it. Life happened. I made it. Life happened. Um, Tom is the leader of our big team, which is phenomenal right now. I apologize. My son left the TV on and it's blinking at me. So congratulations for that. I know you're helping a ton of people. The motivation behind it, like, hey, if I can just feel better, um, if you don't mind coming off mute and just tell me a little bit about your motivation. I love that.
Well, I've always had moto, buddy. It was instilled in us the time we left those yellow footprints. And
Yeah.
like I told you, in the past, that the lack of not feeling good it's a terrible thing. It's you hear people all the time. I'm tired. Or, I'm fatigued. I'm this. I'm that. And I was one of those people. And finally, it was like I told you, I was like, what do I got to lose? Let's do it. So,
That's
and I
it.
want to help other people, have the same goals that I got because I've got great results so far within a short period of time.
So to ask the question, what have you got to lose? How much have you lost so far?
13 now total.
Nice. In the
Yep,
first month.
in the first month.
That's crazy. That's not quite typical. I will be upfront in saying that. I've seen more than a handful of people do it. It's not quite typical. There's some work going on there too. I know that.
Yep,
And when you got the energy to do that, I appreciate you sharing, Tom.
no
Like
problem.
I have shared my story over and over again, but when I hear dads and veterans and all the people who have those health challenges coming off the couch and saying like, "Oh, I've got the energy to hang out with my kids now." You went golfing with your daughter today?
Yeah, brought
Um,
her golf. A bunch of us went golfing and it was great.
that's cool. Like those are memories.
Yep.
We can't you, you can buy memories, but you can't really buy memories at the same time.
Um,
Um, that's really cool. So congratulations. Tom is leading the way for our big team, and I know you haven't met our big team yet. This started as an April wellness group. That's hundreds and hundreds of people. So that's an accomplishment. Ethan isn't able to join us tonight, at least not right now. I know he and I had spoken about getting stuck at a plateau, and he shared where he's at. Um, Ethan, 26, corrections officer. We've shared his story in here. He's talked about it a little bit. And I'm going to share as if Ethan is on this call because I know we're going to share the recording with him. Um, Ethan has been going through life, and one of the big things that he kicked was the energy drink habit. Coming from 8 energy drinks a day to none, that can do all kinds of things to your body. But with that, when you have that much energy, it has a habit of making your body stress out. That stress results in cortisol. You think about the increased heart rate, all the different things. But I mentioned cortisol specifically because cortisol is one of the two hormones that tells your body, hey, we need to store fat. It's a fight or flight response. And as your body is panicking, going into flight, it will think that it has to preserve itself. And part of preservation is like, oh, I need energy for later when I'm not so stressed. So when you spike cortisol levels over and over and over again, your body is going to say, store whatever it is as fat. Now, I say whatever it is. It's been a while since I've gone through them and I couldn't find them. I looked, but there are studies that have shown even when you're eating really, really healthy foods that your body would not typically store as fat. If your insulin and cortisol levels are in the right place, or if your body is starving, it will still turn those nutrients into fat, which is crazy, right? Because like we would imagine that, okay, I've got 2,000 calories coming in. Calories are horrible, horrible measure for anything other than how to increase a gram of water by 1 degree. But we have these calories coming in, and typically we would expend them as energy. But instead, what we're going to do is we're going to shut down organ function. We're going to slow down the way that the kidneys filter the fluid we're taking in. We're going to slow down liver function. We're going to slow down digestion. And instead, we're going to take those calories and turn them into fat because we might need the energy later. So when you're eating poorly, or when you're eating very, very little, your body is going to stress out. It's going to store the nutrients as fat. When you're coming off energy drinks, sometimes it takes a little while before your body realizes, like, hey, this is our new normal. We need to work through it. Big things that you can do. You can stay hydrated. Very, very important. You should be taking in at least half your body weight in ounces of water every day. If you're brand new to Plexus and you're not used to taking the supplements, I know that sounds really daunting, but if you're at 200 pounds, you should be taking in 100 ounces of water a day at a bare minimum. That's not including if you're working out, if you're breaking a sweat, whatever else it may be. And that's going to be really good for your skin. You're going to love the way that your skin looks in a few months as you're getting started. Um, you're going to notice a change in your nails, in your hair, all the other things. But having that work for you, I mean, Tom mentioned the Marine Corps. Like, the Marine Corps is the leading edge expert in the world for hydration. We know hydration. We make the charts that show you all the different colors of urine, pee, for where you should be at. And there are guys who I've heard them tell me like it's maple syrup. All right, bro, we're gonna get you in the clinic. We're gonna get you a couple bags of IV fluid. That's very much what Meredith is working with. Or you're crystal clear. You're very well hydrated. Like once an hour, you're going to pee. Maybe that's a bit much for some people. But as you're staying hydrated while you're working on your health, having chromium in your body, which is what the Slim puts in, that helps to pull out the glucose molecules. So as the fat is breaking down, you're literally able to pee out some of the nutrients that are nutrients, some of the ingredients of the fat. So staying hydrated is important. It's also going to help to ward off things like headaches as you're getting loaded on. I mentioned that because Ethan mentioned specifically headaches. Um, and generally speaking, it's going to help you lubricate your joints. It's going to help the magnesium and the biocleanse get where it needs to go. It's going to help the probio flush the way that it needs to flush. There's all kinds of stuff that happens when you're staying hydrated. So that's one of the things that I always look at when people are in a plateau. How much water are you getting every single day? Does that make sense? That's a whole lot of words, and I'm realizing I'm speaking kind of fast. I want to get this all in. Cool. Okay. Second thing, nutrition. We all know nutrition is important. I look at the poll every night and I see like pivotal. Okay, maybe it's a little bit tricky mixing pivotal in with our daily activity. I want to lean on the fact that it's there, but the way it's designed, it's getting in a lot of protein, it's getting in a lot of fat. And as I'm making this recording, I'm going to throw out another number. You can go back to it and take a look if you need to. Healthy weight loss happens naturally when you're getting in 3/4 of a gram to 1 gram of protein for every pound of your ideal weight. That means if your ideal weight is, let's say, 160 pounds to make an even number, you're getting in at least 120 grams of protein a day. And that is really, really difficult for a lot of people because they realize when they start pushing that, you get really full when you eat a lot of protein, and that's a good thing. Um, I've had a number of people who have commented, guys, I've had friends come to me and they've told me they're only getting 900 calories a day. And they're like, it worked at the beginning. I'm like, yeah, of course it worked at the beginning. Your body is used to 2000. You're only getting in 900. It's going to go for the energy store. But at some point in time, your body's, pardon my language, oh shit light goes on. It's like, hey, we can't do this because we're going to die if we don't get enough calories. So what does it do? It slows down organ function. And that's obviously a problem. I already mentioned how that looks, but your body says at some point in time, we are only going to be getting 900, maybe 1,000 calories a day indefinitely. So at some point, it's going to show up in fatigue. It's going to show up in brain fog. It's going to show up in muscle aches and slow recovery. Your body is not going to be doing the things that it needs to do because you're not fueling it, you're not feeding it. People comment about how cold they get when they do that for a prolonged period of time. There's a fascinating study out there. If anybody wants to look it up, I'll go ahead and see if I can't find it. Individual took in 5,793 calories a day. That was his target caloric intake to see what would happen. And this is looking at the calorie in, calorie out model, which is what we're taught in Western nutrition. If you have 2,000 calories a day, your body will burn 2,000 calories a day. Anything more, you're going to store fat. Anything less, you're going to burn fat. Cool concept, easy to understand. Unfortunately, there are really no studies that actually support that. Um, while it is true that if you cut your calories, you will lose weight initially. And you guys, I'm going to ask you, has anybody tried a caloric, like cutting down on your calories and you lost weight? You can either put a one in the comment, you can unmute and tell me. Like, has anybody done a calorie restriction diet and lost weight doing it?
That's what I
I've done
tried
it.
doing.
Okay. Meredith, you too?
Yeah, I've done it on and off for
Have
years, but then
have
I usually end up gaining back twice as much as I lost.
exactly what I'm looking for. Tom, did
That's
you
what
have the same
happened.
experience?
That's what happened to me last time. I went low calorie, a little bit high protein, but like Meredith said, once I was done with it,
Yep.
I went up on a scale. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
It comes right back and then 10
Yeah.
more pounds, right?
Yep.
And I see Anna in the background. Anna, have you ever had that happen?
All the time.
No?
No, all the time, she said.
Oh, all the time. Okay.
Yeah.
So like it's a flawed model, right?
Yep.
We're being told eat less calories, and I hate it because it's the doctors who are telling people. The doctors are going to come out and they're going to be like, just work out more and eat less. I'm not saying this to brag. I'm fortunate that I'm able to make it to the gym at least 3 times, usually 4, maybe 5 times a week. Everybody who works out at the gym regularly, and I say regularly, that I've known there for a year or two, will openly admit abs are made in the kitchen. It is what we are eating. It's not how much, it's what we're eating. So back to the study, right? This guy had like 5,793 calories a day for 21 days. By the calorie in, calorie out model, by design, he would have had enough extra calories to gain 18 pounds over 3 weeks. He gained 2 pounds. He lost a half inch and his muscle mass increased. Doesn't make sense, right? So what he did is he went high protein, high fat. He focused on whole foods that do not create an insulin response. He was able to eat as much as he wanted to eat doing that experiment. And so, of course, the theory now becomes, am I a freak? Is this just something wrong with me? And so he did the next study, or rather, he did the second step of the study, and he brought in Western nutrition. He ate the breads. He ate the processed meats. He ate everything that somebody who is less conscious of what's going on around them would eat. And he gained almost to the 10th of a pound exactly what was predicted. His insulin response went through the roof. I think I've got to take a look at the study again. I think he became pre-diabetic in a period of 3 weeks. And if you remember the movie where the guy went around and he ate McDonald's for, you know, 2 months, exact same situation. So we have to look at what it is that we're eating. When we hit a plateau, getting to that point, if you're feeling like you're stuck, are you getting enough food? And you can go back into more studies about this. I'll fall back on the book, not What the Heck Should I Eat, but the Obesity Code, where he cites the studies that have been done on women who did long-term calorie restrictive diets. And when compared to the control group who ate a normal diet, 2,000 calories a day on average, that normal diet, they had less than a half-inch difference in their waistline after years of calorie restriction. Starving yourself is not going to work. So high protein, fats, unsaturated fats, both poly and mono. We can go into that sometime. I need to brush up if y'all want to know the difference in the two. But unsaturated fats, you can be getting nuts. You could do avocados, meat, red meat. You are what you eat, but you're also what your meat eats. So the higher quality meat you can get, the better it will be for you. Make sure you're getting those in. I don't mention carbohydrates. Fun fact, we were all taught that carbs are an essential nutrient, right? That's wrong. Carbs are not essential. If you only were to eat, and I'm not advocating because it's a little bit more than this, but if you were to only eat proteins and fats, your body will chemically convert the nutrients that it would get from the carbohydrates, and your body would be able to continue to function without carbs. Piece of cake. It's not a problem. Ketosis is a thing. Like, it's a great thing, great mental clarity. There are individuals out there who love and swear by the carnivore diet where they only eat meat all day long. Personally, haven't tried it yet. Seems kind of expensive. Could be fun. Could be fun. But I'll tell you, like, we actually have a few people within the accountability group, I think one or two, who have done it, and they swore they felt amazing on it. So maybe we get a guest speaker in, we can talk about that a little bit more. It covers hydration, covers nutrition. Make sure you're getting in enough calories. And I know I'm saying that right after I'm saying, like, the number of calories don't really matter, but make sure you're getting in at least 1,800, 2,000 calories a day, because your body does need it to function. As long as you're not putting in a whole bunch of carbs and a whole bunch of junk, most people will notice that that simple step puts them in the right direction. And you go back to like the 1920s, 1930s, word on the street, the self-respecting woman knew that bread was going to make her get fat. Period. That was very common knowledge now. I say that tomorrow, be mindful. Think about how many times most people will put bread in their mouth. Maybe it's not us, but the people around us, our kids, and other things. A Nutri-Grain bar, like, okay, does it have any fillers in it? Whatever it may be, there's stuff out there. Final notes on that. I mean, I feel like I'm really beating it up, but those two things alone, hydration and then looking at the nutrition, the last thing that I'll close with is sleep. Generally speaking, how are we doing on sleep? Meredith, I know I've asked you, but if you don't mind sharing. Tom, what's a good night's sleep look like for you now, Tom?
I get a good solid 7 hours now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What was it before?
4 to 5.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Meredith?
Toss and turn a lot, and now I'm staying asleep, through the night now, so
Nice.
it's better.
Has Anna or Scott started on? Scott has, and I know I just got a message. Have either
Yeah,
of them
he's gonna
started with the
do it on
triplex yet?
Thursday, I think, with the May 2nd group.
Perfect. Okay. So I'll touch on product use here as we get ready to wrap up. And just getting started. I know you can teach them on that, but I'll reiterate it for the recording. Meredith, how is your sleep right now?
Sleep has been phenomenal. I've really upped my like exercise.
Okay.
gym time. I do my old lady aqua aerobics.
That's
And then
awesome.
I went to Zumba this past week. And I know I had told you that I have like a really hard time falling asleep and shutting my mind off.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's because I'm not getting expending enough energy in the day. Because those days, I mean, I don't even think my head hit the pillow before I fell asleep.
that's amazing. So that's like the missing piece of the puzzle.
100%.
And how
And
long
I
have you been on? Go ahead.
I said I feel great. I wake up because I'm not groggy in the morning from taking Benadryl and melatonin and all of that. And so I'm not napping during the day. I can actually function and I'm clear headed.
That's so cool. That's so cool. And how long had you been on sleep aids?
Ooh, since I was in nursing school. So 2018,
6
I
years.
graduated in 20. Yeah. And I would
Okay.
take, because I started working night shift right after I graduated.
Okay.
And I was taking 2 Benadryl, so that 50 milligrams of Benadryl and 10 to 20 milligrams of melatonin every night.
Oh my God.
And there's nights then I still couldn't sleep.
I'm going to put you on the spot. You're a
Mhm.
nurse.
Yep.
If you had a patient come to you and tell you that they were taking that, what would you tell
They're insane.
them?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
All right.
I would tell them they're absolutely insane.
So every time you talk about how well you're sleeping, I'm going to be asking you how long you were on those meds and what you were taking. That's
Mhm.
amazing.
And
So,
I've not had any nightmares either, which is really good because that's what was like kind of the initial
yeah,
that I kind of pushed me because I wasn't sleeping because I was having so many nightmares.
yeah.
Now I've had some bizarre dreams, but I haven't gotten to the point where it's the night terrors again. So positive, very positive.
I I bring up sleep and Meredith, I want to come back to that note because you mentioned the night terrors. I think I've shared my story with you guys. I'll share a recording of it in the chat. I I bring up sleep. When you are getting 4 to 5 hours of sleep a night, the probability of you having type 2 diabetes, developing type 2 diabetes, is phenomenal. It's like a 75% probability that you will develop type 2 diabetes just because your sleep is so poor. When you get 5 to 6, the percentage comes down. 6 to 7, it's a little bit better. It's like 10, 20%. 7 to 8 hours of restful sleep. I mentioned that your body produces less hunger hormone, more satiety hormone. It naturally helps to regulate. And because you're sleeping, your stress is going down as well. So you don't have that cortisol blast just coming after you. That's a really, really huge thing. Being able to sleep well, being able to prioritize sleep. And I know not everybody can do it. You know, I've got a neighbor 2 doors down. She's an ER nurse, Navy lieutenant. She's running like crazy for Navy ER, but they don't have enough trauma. So she moonlights out in town so she can stay current. God bless Jacksonville. That place is a hole. Um, they have a whole lot of mess out there, but this woman never sleeps. Plexus has made a world of difference, even though she isn't able to get the regular sleep, digestion, mood, migraines, the things that come with it. So stay consistent, hydration, nutrition, and sleep. Those are the three things I'm going to offer tonight. I know I've talked a whole lot more. I want to open this call up and I want to share it with you guys, but I'm going to wrap up with one other thought. Meredith, you mentioned yesterday nesting. You've got a puppy coming?
Yeah, we pick up our golden retriever puppy tomorrow morning.
Love it. Nesting was a really funny word that you used. And I think we all have kids in here. We understand the nesting process. For whatever reason, I don't know what it is, but I have noticed that going through detox, there seems to be a nesting process that naturally happens. And cleaning the entire house. I went through it myself, and it was right after my nightmares and night terrors ended. My dreams were very, very vivid, but not bad. And for whatever reason, I had to clean everything. And it wasn't something that I noticed for me, but as I was helping some of my neighbors, we were living up in Quantico, living in base housing. I had a couple neighbors that had joined me as I was getting started, and I was asking them like what was going on in their life, what had changed, and every single one of them, as I was dropping by, they were cleaning the heck out of their house. And it wasn't that their houses were usually messy, but like this was Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps is coming to visit. I'm going to field day now. Chinese style, everything's getting broken down. It was a full-on field day. I don't know what it is. I don't know if that's what it was, Meredith. I'm just saying it's possible.
Oh, we
Uh,
washed the walls, we washed the ceiling, baseboards. Like I disinfected every inch of the downstairs,
when's the last
cleaned
time
all
you
the
did that?
windows. My husband was laughing because I did that when my daughter was born.
Okay.
We were living in San Diego, and I literally took a bucket of boiling water and bleach and a toothbrush, and I cleaned every single baseboard in the entire house. And we were living like a 3,000 square foot
Oh my God.
house up in Escondido, and it was like I have to. But I really think there's a psychological component to it because when you're feeling better and like mentally more clear, you want your surroundings to reflect that. And I always think of, you know, cleaning and, spring cleaning as a fresh start.
Yeah.
And it's, after you have like a big closet purge, it's like, oh, that feels good because you're getting rid of the old things that don't serve you anymore.
It's kind of like a metaphor for what goes on in our body. And as we think about like our digestive tract is cleaning itself out, we've talked about poop. We've talked about that period that some of us go through where you're gassy and maybe you're a lot bloated, but you're gassy and it's foul. But that stuff's been in there forever and your body is cleansing itself. The two seem to coincide. I don't know. I'm putting it out there. Maybe there's something to it. Maybe we can find somebody who wants to do a study on it as we're doing. Maybe we find our own unconventional study and we run it within our group. But thank you for sharing that. I love it. I'm going to wrap up with a quick how-to getting started on the product. Tom has Scott and Anna both there. Getting started simply. First and foremost, if you have not already, there is a QR code on the inside of each box that we're going to get. If you open that up, you can scan the QR code. Dr. Hartman, sorry, I was looking at Tom. Dr. Hartman is he's our nutrition guru. He's got a great video, 5 minutes. This is what we're doing for our body. There is one part of the booklet that comes in the triplex that I don't entirely agree with, and I'll explain why. But it says take the BioCleanse in the morning. I always recommend taking the BioCleanse and the ProBio 5 at night. Is everybody on this call doing that if you're already on? Cool, thumbs up.
Yes.
Perfect. I recommend that because if you're getting a full night's sleep, it's going to give your body the opportunity to get the most out of the probiotics. It's also going to give the magnesium a chance to really soak into your bloodstream. That's important because magnesium is responsible for 300-ish different functions in your body, and you want the probiotics to take root. It's also important because the two work together to help out with melatonin and serotonin production, melatonin being the sleep hormone. So if you are taking something that is going to support your natural melatonin production, it only makes sense that you're going to sleep better at night. Not everybody loves the BioCleanse at night. I would always, always, always recommend ProBio 5 at night. Some people do better with it during the day, either between breakfast and lunch or lunch and dinner. The drink, every morning, I like to start my morning. I mix up my drink with 14 to 16 ounces of water. I'll mix it up and then I'll throw some ice on top. If you have active, Midday, you can always mix up a slim. Mixing the active with it, I recommend at least 24 ounces of water because it's a little bit stronger. Um, that's a great pick-me-up. It's also going to help out with the blood sugar, balancing your blood sugar, giving you both natural energy and the caffeine that comes with active. That's a good way that you can do it. But really, the triplex can be that simple. When you get started, the first 5 days, one pill of each BioCleanse and ProBio 5, keeping it by your toothbrush and taking it at night to get started. Then you have your drink in the morning. Anna, Scott, I know you guys are in the background. If you've not already started, I recommend go ahead, have your pills tonight, and start a log, start a little journal for what you're noticing as the time passes. It's going to be important to keep tabs on that. If somebody got the balance with their combo, the balance is a carb blocker. You can take it before your largest meal of the day. And that's actually going to help the carbs just pass through your body by neutralizing enzymes. So they're not being turned into fat. It's going to block sugars. So they're also not being turned into fat. And that'll block about half the carbs that you're taking in. Now, I say that. That's not an excuse to eat like 2 pieces of pie when you would have only had one. But if you know that you're going to have a piece of pie, you can have your balance beforehand. It's going to help you out. Reset. We're going to go ahead. We're going to do a reset coming up here on looking at least the 2nd of May. I'm looking at my watch. I think I'm sorry. Looking at either the 6th or the 8th of May, because we have a handful of people that have reached out and said that they want to get a reset to join us. Does anybody have any friends that they want to bring along for the reset accountability group, or does anybody want, show of hands in the chat if you would, drop a one. Who knows somebody that would probably like to lose 6 pounds next week? Anybody? I know I do. And I know we have a small crowd tonight, but if you know somebody that wants to lose 6 pounds next week, we have a $16 discount code. I think I have 2 more free reset codes that have not yet been used. So we could give away 2 resets. If you already have an extra reset, we'll do another one in June. But we can help those people out. I throw that out there. If you know somebody and you haven't already shared, you could get between a $25 and $50 bonus for sharing for the very first time. And if you're able to share with 3 people before the month is out, and I'm here to jump on Messenger, I'm here to jump on chat, I'm here to jump on Zoom with you. If you share with 3, that's a $330+ referral bonus, as Plexus's way of saying thank you this month for doing that. So it's super simple. Everybody who is a VIP customer, you can share. Even if you don't want the money, you can at least get product credit back. If you want to take advantage of the cash, personally, I like money. I just filled up my boat today. That was expensive. I've got a 108-gallon tank. Thank God I didn't need more than about 25 gallons, but a little bit goes a long way these days. So, especially when you're running ethanol-free high octane, it adds up. Please let me know. I'm here for you guys. I want to go ahead and open it up. It's already 8:38. You guys have any questions? Anything I can help with? Anything from those in back that I might not be able to see?
I have a question about the protein.
Yeah.
I was looking at it because I lost my credit card. So it emailed me today and it says, your yep, that word cannot be processed. So I was looking back through and I was like, what, like the protein looked good, but trying to like fit that in, is that like a complete meal replacement, the protein?
It is. It actually also has digestive enzymes in it.
Okay.
My daughter, before school, so we loaded up on Snickerdoodle. We had a big sale. It was a BOGO on Snickerdoodle, and we loaded up on that. That's what she loves before breakfast. Or yeah, before breakfast. She loves it for breakfast before school. And she's commented that as opposed to eating cereal, which isn't a great way to really start your day, like now that we learn about nutrition, at 12 years old, that protein gets her through until lunch, and she feels a whole lot better through the day with it.
And then my other question is the Metaburn. That's something you take in the morning, correct?
Metaburn, I recommend always
Hey.
take it. Yep, there you go. Always take it with food. It is spicy. Most people start with one. I've had one or two people that started with two. You can take up to two at a time. And it's a natural thermogenic. It's something that they use in the Far East. They've used the ingredients in the Far East for a whole lot longer than we've been around. Um, and a lot of people say that they love it, not just because it helps with burning the stubborn fat around the belly and the waist, but it also has an ingredient called 5-HTP, which is the natural predecessor for serotonin production.
Okay.
So for those who deal with depression, 5-HTP is a great natural relief.
Okay.
I say all that. You guys don't have to be geeks like me. I should emphasize that. I dug so deep into the ingredients on this. If somebody's asking you something, we can always look it up. You don't have to be a geek like me. Cool. Any other questions?
Questions.
I guess no more questions.
Yeah.
I got questions.
That's my daughter. She's out of control.
Okay. Does she have a question for us? No? Okay. All right, guys, I really appreciate you jumping on. I'm gonna go ahead and get this uploaded to YouTube if there's anybody that you would like to share it with. Meredith, I'll reach out to you about your card and make sure that you're taken care of. And I'll look forward to seeing you guys here in a week. And I guess we're gonna double the giveaway. So there we go. All right, take care.